Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the next update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows. I am very excited as always to share with you the progress and let you know where I am with my 5 eyeshadows that I'm currently working on. This year I am doing Laney's prompt, so we'll have her link down below. It's basically a randomized kind of prompt list where you pick eyeshadows out of that, so it's a bit more flexible than the normal way I've been doing it, which is obviously picking everything by random. So this year I pick a prompt by random, but then I can choose my own eyeshadow from that prompt, which again gives a bit more flexibility. But before I jump into the eyeshadows themselves, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So as always, I'm going to start with eyeshadows that have been in the longest, and we have 3 eyeshadows that have been in for 2 months and then 2 that was rolled in last month. So the first eyeshadow I have to talk about is the one that comes from my Sweet Talk palette. This is an eyeshadow that starts with W, and I rolled in the shade Work It, which looks like this, or it looked like this at the last update. At the last update I had used this one 7 times, so I was not quite halfway there, but I had a decent amount of use on it still. Since then I'm happy to say that I have used it 13 additional times, and this is where I am today. So as you can see, I don't really have much of a dip, maybe a slight dip showing, but not much at all. And if you don't know, my rules for this project is basically pan or 20 uses, and as you can tell I have reached that 20 use goal, but I'm nowhere near pan, and that's kind of why I have that stipulation used for these situations where I have a long way to go, and this would probably take me like 50 plus uses to hit pan on. So yeah, this one will be rolling out just because of the usage goal. Next up we have a single eyeshadow that I rolled in for the prompt random color generator, and if I still have the picture, this is the color that I rolled in. So I decided to go with one of my Terra Moon's eyeshadows in the shade Crimson Eclipse, which looked like this at the last update, and at that point I had used this one 4 times. So since then I have used this one 13 additional times, and this is where I am today. So hopefully you can see there that I was able to pan on this eyeshadow. It took me 17 uses in total, so not quite 20 uses, but I am happy to say that I have pan on this one. I actually used this one as a nail polish once, which I will feature in a video later on this month, where I show how I use eyeshadows as nail polish. So I know a lot of people have requested that, so it will be coming later this month, and I used this one for that. And when I do use eyeshadows nail polish, I have started counting that as 5 uses, just because you use so much product when you use it on your nails. So 5 out of the 13 uses this month came as a nail polish, but I'm happy to say that I was able to put gold on this one obviously, so it will be rolling out as well. The next eyeshadow rolled in for something starting with U, and I decided to roll in a shadow from Cleona, which is the shadow UV. It's one of their iridescent, so up here in the picture you can see it. It looks basically white, but I have used it 5 times at the last update, and since then I have used it 6 additional times, and this is what it looks like today. So no pan yet, maybe a little bit of a dip starting to form, nowhere close to pan though. These pans are quite deep, if I can show you. They are quite deep as you can see, so I don't think I will be able to hit pan on this one in 20 uses. So I have 9 more uses to go, and I'm determined to hit that in the next month, but we'll see how I do. I'm happy with the 6 uses this month though, and it's a nice in the corner shadow as well as a topper shadow. If you ever see me wear like an electric and a purpley blue on my lid, that is most likely this eyeshadow, and I'm going to continue using it that way for the next month. Then the last 2 eyeshadows were both rolled in last month, and the first one rolled in for a black eyeshadow, which was quite a, I mean, not really the prompt that I wanted for this time of year, but it's fine. I decided to roll in an eyeshadow from my Soft Glam palette, so you probably know that it's the shade Noir, and I again rolled this one in last month, so this is what it looked like then. Since then I have used this one 5 times, and this is where it is today. Honestly, I can't see any dip forming. This is actually quite a hard pressed eyeshadow, especially for being Anastasia. Yeah, I've been using it quite a bit, like not just as like a little accent. I've actually used it a lot in my crease for really deep smoky looks, and yeah, you can't really tell much at all. So I honestly think this is going to be a 20 uses goal and then roll it out, because I don't see much of a dip after 5 uses, but I'm going to keep going with it. I do actually want to make it look with this one all over my lid, and then UV topped on top of it, because those two together I feel like would be a really cool combination. So it's something I'm going to do next month, but I just didn't get around to it this past month. And also, again, we are in the midst of summer, so it's not really something that I was very keen on doing, but I still want to do it before I roll either of these two eyeshadows out. Then the last eyeshadow, again rolled in last month, and I believe I rolled this one in for Indie Eyeshadow, and I decided to go with one of my Glam Shop shadows. And the shade that I rolled in is the shade Bombawi, which looked like this. And again, I mean I had a little bit of use on it, but not too much at the last update or when I rolled it in. And since then I have used this one 8 times, and this is where it is today. So you can see there in the center that I have a shiny pan showing. It's very exciting. This eyeshadow is quite easy to hit pan on, even though it is a circle pan. They are a bit thinner than other circle pans I have, so it wasn't too difficult to hit pan on, and I love this eyeshadow. I love using this for like every day. It's a very easy eyeshadow for me to reach for, so I really thoroughly enjoyed using this one, and I was very glad to roll it in. But that is also the last eyeshadows. I am rolling out 3 out of my 5 eyeshadows today, and before I go ahead and roll in new eyeshadows, let me swatch out my old color story as well as what is staying in. So here you have my old color story. We have Work It, then we have Crimson Eclipse, we have UV, Noir, and then lastly Bombawi. So that was my old color story. We have 2 shadows staying in, which is UV there on top as well as Noir. So very different. Quite obviously I rolled out the more kind of summery tone and kept in the more kind of wintry tones in my opinion. So not too surprising, but we'll see how I go with these two in the next month. Hopefully I can roll out at least UV. Yeah, so let's see how I do. But let's go ahead and pull up my Tiny Decisions app. We're gonna pick my Pan Those Eyeshadows wheel, and we're gonna go ahead and choose my prompts. So let me just go ahead and spin the wheel. We need 3 prompts, so let's see what the first one is. In a corner shadow. Okay, that's very easy. I'm very happy with that. Let's see what the next one is. Shadow from palettes with no pan. Okay. I don't even know what eyeshadow palettes I have without pan at the moment, but we'll see what I get. So let's go for the next one. A to C roulette. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and pick my random letter. I just found this website here, and I think if I press here I should be able to get a... Oh, okay, sorry, I have to spin it. So I guess I just go like this and I spin it, and I should be able to get a letter. Let's see what I get. H. I don't know if you can see that right there. H. So let me go ahead and find those things. So an inner corner shadow, an eyeshadow starting with H, and a shadow from a palette with no pan. So yeah, let me go and get those and I will be right back. So I'm back and I have chosen my new colors. This is a little sneak peek of the color story. So let's go through them in order. The first shadow that I rolled in was an inner corner shadow, and I actually decided to roll in another one of my Glam Shop shades. One of the reasons why I'm rolling this in is because I'm going to travel twice next month. I'm going to travel to Portugal for holiday, and I'm going to travel back to my family in Sweden. So I know that I won't be bringing lots of palettes, so I wanted to roll in some more singles this round just to be able to take them traveling. So the first shadow that I decided to roll in was 1-4 in a corner shadow, like I said, and this is the shadow Pale Kiscovi. That's probably completely wrong, but yeah, let me show you the name first actually. So this here is the name of the shadow, and this right here is what this one looks like. So it is one of their iridescents. It's like a blue iridescent. It's absolutely stunning, and it has a little bit of use but not too much, and I'm very excited to play with this one. It's like a blue to pink duochrome, or like multi-chrome I guess, and yeah, it's beautiful. I was thinking if it's too similar to UV, but I don't think it is. I think this is one that I can reach for more on an everyday basis. It's also more sparkly, and yeah, I'm very excited to play around with that one. So that is the first shadow, and obviously my goal again as always is to hit pan or 20 uses. For a shadow that is in a palette with no pans, I decided to roll in a shadow from my Red Dragon palette from Odin's Eye in collaboration with Judy. This one had a lot of options for me. I was looking originally at this shadow here called Amber. However, that's I think too similar to what I'm gonna roll in next. And then I was looking at Luna, which is the multi-chrome in the palette, which is like a pink to green. I don't know if you can pick it up there a little bit maybe. That's a really stunning shade too. I also for a short while considered the Solar Flare, but I think I have too many similar things in my Pan palette now. So ultimately I decided to go in with Overheat, which is this shadow here, which is more of a kind of champagne color. It's a little bit deeper than champagne, but it's like a, yeah, you can see it right here. It's like a light bronzy champagne. It's really stunning. It's more of an everyday shadow, so I can hopefully use that quite a bit. And yeah, I compare with a lot of things, so I decided to roll that one in. So for the last shadow, I actually decided to roll in another Glam Shop shadow. Again, I do want more singles, and why I'm focusing on my Glam Shop shadows right now is because they are my oldest in my indie eyeshadow collection, so I do want to get some more use out of them, and also I fell back in love with them after doing my swatch video. So yeah, I decided to go with another one of those, and this one was for a shadow starting with H, or from like A to C roulette, and I rolled in obviously H. So I decided to go with Hollow Nasieplo, which is this shadow right here, which is a holographic shadow. I do have 3 holographic shadows from them. This one is the one that is more kind of rose gold. You can see it down there at the bottom. I'm not sure if you can pick up the hollowness, maybe you can a little bit, but I think this one is going to be fun to play with. I need to get more use out of my hollow shadows, and I think this one can work nicely like all over the lid, or even topped on top of this one, or even topped on top of the black, I don't know. But that is my color story moving forward. So yeah, definitely rolling in some more neutral shadows. You know, it's I was gonna say it's not too different from last month, but I mean it is a little bit different. The shadow here at the bottom, Bombawi, is quite similar to this one, but Bombawi had a pink reflex too. And then obviously we had a matte. I just realized something. I usually have a rule of having at least 2 mattes every round, and I just remember I don't have 2 mattes now. Do I rethink everything? Because yeah, I normally have 2 mattes at any point in time, but now I only have 1, which is the black. I'm so sad on this color story though. I really like this color story. You know what? I'm gonna allow myself a month of a break. I'm gonna roll in these eyeshadows here, but moving forward from next month, I'm gonna go back to having 2 mattes at any point in time. That was a rule that I had and I completely forgot about when I picked this color story. But yeah, I really like this color story and I'm really happy with my choices. So I'm gonna stick with it for now, because otherwise I would kind of, unless I want to change everything up, I would have to roll in a matte from this palette. But I know the Oden's eye mattes are really hard pressed, so that would be a 20 use goal. And I'm looking at which one I would want to roll in, because I'm panning a lot of like transition shades at the moment, so I don't think I would want to roll that in. I'm panning a black, so like these dark shadows wouldn't be an option. Maybe like this dark red would be one, but no, do I want to do that? Okay, so I had a little think and I actually decided to switch out the eyeshadow from this palette right here, because I could pick anything else from here. I could easily pick a matte, and I was just being a bit like lazy, I guess, or like I really wanted a shimmer, I really wanted like an easy out, but I'm gonna stick to my rules. So I decided to switch out Overheat right here, which was the shimmer, for one of the mattes. And the matte that I decided to go with is Yin right here, and it's like a rosy kind of reddish matte. It looks like this. It actually would pair really nicely with the holographic shadow, and I think it's gonna be nice because it's like a deepening up shade, but it's not as deep as like the black obviously, or like other deepening up shadows, but I also can still use it in combination with all the transition shades that I'm working on. I also feel like it would work nicely with my warm tone transitions and even like the mauve tones that I'm panning in my Pan palette at the moment. So I think that one should be fine. I'm hoping so, but I think it's going to be a 20 uses goal and instead of pan, because I know the mattes in the Oden's Eyes palettes are really hard to press. But I actually haven't hit pan on any of the Oden's Eye shadows like in this formula. I have in the Elva palette, which is like the round pans, but with these pan sizes I don't know how deep they are, so we'll see. But I'm gonna roll in that shadow instead, and then use it 20 times, or maybe if I hit pan first. So that is my new color story instead. Again, this is my old one, so you know, definitely still a lot more autumnal. That I feel like this honestly is very, very autumnal. Like, it's not very summery, is it? But I think I can still use all of these shadows. I think next month my goal is going to have out UV on top here. It's hard to see, but that's going to be my first goal. I should be able to have out this in the corner shadow too from Glam Shop. And maybe even this shadow down here at the bottom as well. If it's easy to pan on, I think maybe I can have those out. So maybe 3 eyeshadows out next month. With the 2 mattes, I don't think I'm gonna have those out. The black, I mean, I could technically use it like, what was it, 15 times in the next month, but you know, it's a black, so I don't think I will. And also, again, I will be traveling, so I won't be bringing that palette just for that black. So we'll see how I go, but that again is my color story. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit chaotic towards the end, but I am kind of happy that I changed it up because I don't want to cheat with my rules. So yeah, that is my new color story. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Again, don't forget to check out Laney, who's linked down below, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.